Welcome back, guys, to another episode of Driven by Christ Auto. So, it's a Monday. We had a really, I don't know if you want to say a fun-filled weekend, but we had some weird work that we had to do this weekend, but it was all about helping our friends that are in need. You know, I had some friends. I got one guy, which we're going to be finishing that job today. It's inside waiting on the rack. It is the Renault Clio V6 Sport. And then Saturday morning, my buddy who works for a pizza place, he started hanging around with some bad people. Made some bad decisions and destroyed the company car, and that one cost him quite a bit, but I was there for him to help him because I don't think nobody else would have done that work and not reported it. But anyways, and speaking of helping friends and laying your trust in Jesus, let's go ahead and take a word before we start these wonderful Mondays. Everybody knows that Mondays are the roughest days, but here we go. Dear Jesus, help us to trust you in the midst of a messy day. Yep, those are Mondays. We don't want our inner. Wait a minute, hold up. We don't want our inner calm to be shaken by what's going on around us, even though we live in a temporary world. We know that our innermost being is focused on our eternity with you. When we start to feel stress, we need to detach ourselves from the disturbance around us. That is sometimes hard. Sometimes that disturbance can be family, and sometimes you have to get away from them. Even though you love them and you don't want to walk away from them, you want to try to help them, but sometimes they just be doing dumb stuff and you have to do it. You don't have no choice, or else you can drag yourself down, and that's the biggest thing. If you can't help yourself, how can you help somebody else? As we stop striving to maintain control, you enable us to relax in your control and receive your peace that transcends our understandings. Your word instructs us to seek your presence continually, and that is really hard, especially whenever things are going wrong, because my anger gets the best of me whenever I blow up, like I'm not understanding why things are going bad. It is so hard for me to be in that presence continually. But please share your mind with us and open our eyes to see things from your perspective more and more. We love to hear you telling us, do not let your heart be troubled and do not be afraid. Take heart, I have overcome the world. That's from Scripture. Lord, we rejoice that the peace you give us is perfect for all our circumstances. In your powerful name, Jesus, amen. Alright, so I'll put that together from Philippians chapter 4, verse 6 through 7, Psalms chapter 105, verse 4, John chapter 14, verse 27, and John chapter 16, verse 33. So if y'all want to look up those verses, you can kind of see how I put all this stuff together here. But I also put my own little 2 cents into there, kind of, reflecting on some of the things that I have problems with, because everybody have problems. But anyways, let's go ahead and get this Monday started. Jamie is already in the office, getting everything turned on. She even goes out there and turns on everything in the shop for me already. Girl trying to figure out how to get out here and turn some wrenches. But anyways, that's another thing we're going to do today. We are going to move this car into storage. In fact, we're going to go ahead and do that now before we get started on that. All of our parts from O'Reilly's they should be being delivered this morning. I don't know, they may have already been here. Let me see if the warehouse is open. Nope, not open. Let's go ahead and get that open so they can get my parts delivered in here. And we're going to move this SUV out of the way for another project another day. Let's see, move. We want to put that in car parking. Alright guys, let me get this vehicle out of here. Alright, so we got that stored in our lockup. Let's go outside and get our Supra, and we're going to bring it in and put it on rack 2. Oh, here we go. Even though this thing's kind of raggedy, we're going to have to push it in here. Alright, let me see something. Man, we ain't even got a steering wheel. Hold up, let me get a steering wheel in this car so we can at least steer it. Let's see, I think I got any steering wheel will work. Come on. Any steering wheel will work. Let me grab one real quick. I have to wait for O'Reilly's. In fact, I know what steering wheel I would have put in here anyways. We'll just go ahead and buy a new one. Where is it? That's the, I don't know. I think we may go with the little spoke steering wheel, or we'll go with the import steering wheel. No, we'll go with this one. I kind of like that spoke look. Alright, we'll order it from O'Reilly's, the custom steering wheel. They'll go ahead and bring that over, and whenever they get that here with our other parts, we'll move that in before the day's over. But let's go ahead and get finished with my boy's Clio over here. I know he's waiting for it. He was blowing me down yesterday while we was at the house, wanting to know, hey man, did everything come out right? Did all this? I was like, I don't know. I ain't got back from the machine shop yet. We got to get everything. So, yeah, let's see what happened at the machine shop. So, intake, it turned out to be good. We was able to machine it. Lower intake manifold was good. We just 3D printed some new timing belt covers. We got plenty of plastic scrap. We got enough plastic probably to build a whole car out of. But camshafts, we was able to repolish them out. A little bit of grinding on one of them. Let's see. But anyways, I talked to him, and he was kind of undecisive. He never did really say if he wanted to go performance. He kind of wanted to see what it did stop, and then he said he'll think about bringing it back later, and we can turn this thing up a little bit, because this thing's already going to be fast. Like, you're talking about a dual overhead cam V6 that was capable of making 250 wheel horsepower, and cramming it in the back of a car that probably doesn't even weigh, what, maybe 1,300 pounds? Maybe? I don't know. It's probably weigh a little bit more than that. It's probably like a 1,700 pound car. Because the engine, I know the engine's got to be at least, 600 pounds. So, but alright, let's go ahead and get her block mounted. Don't tell me that. I know darn good and well I got an engine block. And here it is. Alright, let's get this thing up here. Come on. Alright, so we was able to machine this block 100%. Let's get the crankshaft dropped in. Now, we be putting that Lucas assembly lube down. So we'll go ahead and torque down our main bearings. All fresh new main bearings. They were remachined, but they're basically like brand new. So, and then we'll go ahead and slide the pistons in and put our connecting rod bearings in, and go ahead and get them torqued down. Well, pistons are still pretty good. So that wasn't damaged. We are gonna put new rings on them. So, pistons were still good. But he did say he wanted new pistons into there. Alright, so let me see. I got some back here in the warehouse. So, whoa. Let's get to the right page here. Man, this thing is so... Man, sometimes these things get on my nerves. Like, I know I'm clicking on stuff right, but I'm probably doing it so fast that that you know, it's not registering. So let me go back here and see if I got these in my warehouse. I should have some extra pistons in. Yep, along with all the rest of the stuff for the car. Alright. Let's see. Go ahead and get this in. There we go. Torque that connecting rod down. Now, to get these pistons in, there's a little special tool called a ring compressor, and what you do is it's like a little ring deal that sits on top of the block, and you don't have to, it's not like the old school one where you tighten up a nut and it squeezes them together. This, you just kind of pop it through the block and it gets it ready for you. It's a really cool ring compressor. It does it a lot quicker, because the old screw ring compressor style where you had that band clamp around it, sometimes if you over tighten them, they wouldn't come out of it and go into the cylinder, and it was a big fight. Now they got these type that are tapered, as the cylinder is real wide at the top, and then as it gets closer to the block, it actually squeezes the rings together tighter than the circumference in the block of your bore size, and it just falls right in. Works really good as long as you put some assembly lube in there, that way, because you don't want to do it slow. You want to kind of push it through pretty quick, but not slam it in where you're going so fast you slam this connecting rod up against the crank, and you know, you don't want any marred up surfaces running up against your crankshaft, or else it'll scratch it up and possibly could spin a bearing. So, and then we'll be back rebuilding this engine all over again, since I had to have the crankshaft, you know, completely redone and polished, and I'm paying for the pistons and rods and stuff that went in the bottom, because he was wanting to just replace the piston rings. But since I decided to crank the car up without an oil pan on it, yeah, he's got a brand new bottom end, thanks to me and me making mistakes. And you take care of your friends whenever you make those mistakes. So let's see. I know O'Reilly brought an oil pan. Let's see something. Let me check all my stuff again. I know I should have had 10 of them. I know I should have had one of them. And I know O'Reilly should have done brought my parts by here by now. I'm just rechecking my whole list again. But anyways, let's go in here and see if they got, check over here on this other side. Yep, there they are. There's all the parts that O'Reilly's dropped off, or else you would see the pistons, and see over here you got your pistons right there. So different shelf, different things on them. You got to check that whole thing, boy. They be putting parts all over the place. That stuff ain't even organized back there. But they do pretty good. I get them over here whenever we need them. Brand new oil filter. Put a little bit of oil on this O-ring before you put it onto the block. It's got to have oil on there, or else you will have a welded oil filter that it's going to take more than an oil filter wrench to get off if you don't put any oil on that O-ring and screw it down. I don't know, man. I've had to fight with them before. But alright, so let's go ahead and get our new remanufactured heads. These are the same heads. They were just ran through the machine shop, so everything is back to factory spec. We also replaced the valve springs and the seats and lapped the valves. Now it probably does have a little bit more compression, because we matched each head on how much of the surface metal we took off, so it does have a little bit more compression, so you're going to be happy about that. We should have a little bit more horsepower than factory. Just a little bit, not much though. Go ahead and get this head bolted down. And as soon as you put this head down, do not mess with any of the camshafts or none of this. Go ahead and put the spark plugs in, because you be up here trying to put in a bolt and drop it down into there, and Well, we're pulling the head back off because we got a nut or a bolt down in the cylinder, which is not good. You forget that, you're going to hear a bunch of wonderful noises whenever you crank it up. Same thing for the intake runners. Go ahead and put them down so you don't drop anything down into the intake and bend the valve. It's not a good thing. Ooh, O'Reilly's brought us 2 of those intakes. We'll have to return one of them. Alright, let's see if we got a thermostat housing. Yup. We'll mess with our fuel stuff here in a little bit. The exhaust, you ain't got to worry about dropping nothing in the air. You can leave it off. But we're going to go ahead and get ready and put our camshafts in. And luckily, all you want to do is just take assembly lube and rub that whole thing down with it before you slide it through your crankcase or your timing belt cover over here. You want all your metal to metal surfaces to be heavily lubed up. That way whenever you first crank the engine before the oil pressure builds, you don't have metal to metal surfaces. Highly important. So camshaft bearing is still good. We'll go ahead and put it onto there and put this one on. I'm gonna have to check the work detail on that and make sure that he didn't want those replaced. I mean, they checked out in the machine shop. Nothing didn't really stick out, but let's I wonder if they'll pick up the work order on this engine. It probably won't, so let me go to the car real quick and make sure we're not supposed to be replacing that. Camshaft cap. Okay, we knew about the cam gear. Piston rings. Well, we had to replace all the pistons because I cranked up the car without an oil pan. Alright, so yeah, we can pretty much go back together with it the way that it is. I think I actually can... You know what? Hold on just a second. I think I know what happened here. I think we accidentally ordered one of these from O'Reilly's and we were supposed to put the... Oh, well, I guess I must have fixed it in the machine shop. Alright, that's cool. Let's go ahead and add this one on. And one more. And the valve cover. Guess the secondary valve cover set, and that one had to be a little bit smaller because the intake manifold stretched over it, and then you got your oil fill cap over here on this side. So we'll go ahead and put our injector rails in because you ain't gonna be able to get to this one once you put the intake on. And let me look in my parts list real quick. Alright. Go ahead and put this new fuel injection rail into it. There we go. And the intake, we was able to remachine that. There we go. Let's see about this throttle body. Nope. That's what I was wondering about. We are going to have to order a new throttle body, and we're going to have to wait on that one. And I know we got a fuel filter. So, there we go. This thing's coming together. We got majority of the engine built. The only thing we got left now is to do the timing belt, water pump, put the front cover on, and this single piece crank harmonic balancer slash timing belt. That is crazy how they got this set up on here, but it's unique to this motor. I've never seen another engine do that on here. So we'll go ahead and put our pulley on. It's still in good shape. Water pump. And we got brand new cam gears. because those were destroyed. I don't know how they destroyed the cam gear. They're plastic, so you know that's always never good. But I didn't design this motor. I guess they wanted to turn up a little bit more RPM. I guess they may be that Kevlar plastic, some type of extremely hard, heat-resistant plastic. I've never heard of it, but it's on here. Alright, here's the new timing belt. What? Now I know we ordered another timing belt. Yeah, because it's right here. No. And I know we did because on the shopping list, let me go over here and see if this thing's in here. Boy, I'm telling you. Alright, there it is, right there. It's over there on the other shelf. Alright. Go ahead and put our timing belt on. Should be a tensioner right here. We always keep these in stock. We keep our timing belt tensioners in stock. So now we have top covers go on, and then the bottom cover, I want to say. Yeah, top covers and bottom cover. Because the bottom cover overlaps the top covers. They got to go on in sequence. There we go. And then we'll put our V6 on. How did this get destroyed? Alright, another part for O'Reilly's to come in. We got all these other parts, so we'll go ahead and put them on there. We only got just that one little old part from O'Reilly's to come in, and I'm hoping that they'll bring my harmonic balancer, or not the harmonic balancer, but our drive-by-wire throttle body over at the same time. Okay, and let me get Jamie to call them up because they're going to have to add this power steering pump that is specially for this motor. Alright, so it's on the way to, hopefully she can catch them. Alright, so we're waiting on, pretty sure by the time we get these exhaust manifolds on, they'll be on. Because these things would be a pain. They actually got gaskets that go, individual gaskets that go into here that you gotta hang. You gotta do 2 bolts at a time as you hang these things up here. I wish they would have designed it all in one big piece, but nope, they didn't do that on these engines. Alright. So you'd have to put, you know, slide your gasket in between 2 bolts, put the 2 bolts in, and then run the other ones down. We just did that in high speed mode. Now, I think we do have a clutch kit for this car. We are going to put a new clutch into here. And pressure plate, because this stuff is too annoying to, you know, not replace it while you got tore down. I keep this stuff in stock. I'm going to help my dude out a little bit. So, my friend, he's going to appreciate that brand new clutch. Alright, and we're only waiting for a handful of pieces to come in, and we'll be ready to drop that motor in. Alright, so let's get over here and get this thing ready to actually drop the engine in. We're going to have to get the engine hoist over here. Move. Car rack 1. Alright, there we go. And let's see what else we can do up front. Coolant reservoir, it kind of looks a little bit crusty. We'll get a new one of them and put it in. The windshield wash reservoir looks like it's pretty good. I keep these in stock, so we'll put a brand new one into there. Oh yeah, we can go ahead and drop the radiator in. And new cooling fan assembly. There we go. Alright, and I think O'Reilly's just got here and dropped off my other parts for the engine. Let's see if they're here. Told them to put it on the front shelf. Yep, there they all are, right there. Alright, so let's get these parts on and get ready to install this engine. Go. Oh, we got another belt. I'm hoping I got this one in stock. Yep, I got one. And and this is going to be our tensioner arm, brand new, and our tensioner pulley. Last thing, but definitely not least, is the throttle body and our ignition coils. Thinking about helping a friend out, we may go ahead and throw some of them high fire ignition coils into there. That way we can get the good gas mileage, because he said he wanted it for commuting. So you want a good ignition system, and we got them in stock. So let's just go ahead and throw them in there. You know, we're gonna lose a little bit of money on this, but it ain't gonna be a major deal. He'll be okay. I was glad to work on the car, so we're gonna hook him up with some free performance parts. Alright, there we go. Throttle. That's it. That engine is fully assembled, so let's go ahead and get it off of the motor stand and get it installed. Roll that thing on over here, hook it up, get ready to drop it in. Actually, which way we would have to do it, we'd have to raise this thing up, put the engine up underneath the car, and then what you would do is you would let it back down, take this, put it through the back of the car, drop it down on the engine, and then you would raise it up and bolt it into place. So let's go ahead and do that. Boom, done. We got that thing in there fast, boy. We work quick around here. Alright, let's get this thing out of the way. Alright. So right now, engine's held in with motor mounts. I think we got... Oh man, that's another thing. I got to get the exhaust ordered for this. We're supposed to have to hit up O'Reilly's again, because I forgot to order the exhaust. Which, you know what? I wonder if I could do that. Let me go over here to this car. Let's see, air filter. Let's see. There's a way that I should be able to add these to the parts list. I think you can do it. Mark. Unmark. Nope. Nope. There's no way to do it. Rear muffler F. Huh, I wish there was a way you could go through and just tag these parts. That way you can go ahead and order them all, but there's no way. I just do it like this. I go back here and get it where it highlights the engine. So you know we're going to need 2 of them. And these are 2 different, because one of these exhaust pipes is a little bit longer than the other, but we're going to go ahead and get our transmission put on. Alright, there we go. And then we can put our exhaust pipes on after we order them from O'Reilly's. So we're going to need 2 mufflers. We just need 1 apiece on these. I wonder if the... Oh well, I'm going to go ahead and order new exhaust anyways, because it looked kind of rough. So we got that on the way. We'll go ahead and start building the front end of the car while we're waiting on the parts to come in from O'Reilly's. So go. New ball joint. I guess this ball joint's still pretty good. We rebuilt the control arms. We don't ever put, you know, used control arms on there. They're either good or they're broken. That's a very important component in the vehicle. This thing breaks, you just lose the whole wheel going down the road. It is a bad wreck waiting to happen. Oh, that's another thing we gotta do. I gotta build some struts real quick to put in here. I may have some strut assemblies already put together, but I don't think I do. Let's see. Nope, we gotta build them real quick. So this is your special tool that compresses this spring that can kill you if you are not careful with this on unscrew or, you know, loaded strut assemblies are not anything to play with. So you definitely want to make sure that you use this tool whenever you're building these things, Because if you try to do it with that C-clamp thing and it's one of them springs flies out of there, man, it hits your face, it's gonna erase it in a bad way. Alright, so we got the struts built. Let's go ahead and get these things on. Got brand new. I think the springs were only wore out, but most of the time if the springs are wore out, more than likely everything else is too, so we're just gonna go ahead and rebuild the whole strut, put it on there. We was able to return the front brakes. I already got a set of back, ooh, we're gonna have to order some more brake pads, I know that. In fact, let's go ahead and do that while I am sitting here thinking about it. We're going to order some more brake pads and get them to bring all that stuff over. They may have done, maybe already on the way. It may have waited too late. Get this control arm on. New bushings. We're going to run some polyurethane bushings in here. On any of these sports model cars, I try to run the polyurethanes a little bit rougher ride, but they last a whole lot longer, and we already know that this car is probably going to be pushed to its limits, so you want something that's going to be better than the OEM ones. So I ain't going to say that they ride better than the OEM ones, but let's go ahead and get these brake pads. We're going to order a box of 20 of them. There we go. Alright, O'Reilly's probably having a fit right now. Like, dear God, 20 brake boxes? Wait, it's gonna fill up half the truck. And be okay, you made a sale. Everybody's fighting over that wheel call ticket in the bag. It's like, no, I want the $300, $500 brake sale. Do you want the grease with it? No, I don't want the grease. I bought the big tube of it. That's so funny. I go up there and get brakes. They're like, do you want the grease? Now, I ain't going to sit there and say that the grease is not important. But, man, they be hustling them guys. They be telling them, you need to sell the grease with it. Because if you don't sell the grease, they don't put it on. They wonder why the brakes are squealing afterwards and all this other stuff. But then you got to worry about, are they going to put it on in the right area? I have seen people put grease on the brake pad surface and then install them into the vehicle. They said I need to put grease on the brake pad. No, you were asking for a wreck. You got grease in between two metal surfaces. You think that's going to stop anytime soon? Yeah, it's going to stop at the scene of the crash. But yeah, they be trying to sell that brake grease, boy. Go up in there and get some brake pads, but you really do need it, though. I mean, it does keep your sliders where it allows the brake pad to slide back and forth on the caliper, and you don't have a hung up brake pad that you're dragging on your rotor, and then you got a worn out half a brake pad worn out, and you're wondering why your brakes are squealing and they're brand new. Alright, so looks like my buddy's going to be getting a performance fuel pump because I don't have any factory ones in stock, and I think that's probably going to be the last call from O'Reilly's. So before I do all that, let's go ahead and get the tires on. We're done up front. Make sure there's not two different size tires. Okay, nope. We're going to put the best ones on the back. There we go. Alright, 76. There we go. Alright. So, now that we got that taken care of, we'll go ahead and we'll put the front bumper on there. I think he's going to probably want this car to be repainted to match at least the rear bumper. Go ahead and put his rally license tag. He's a rally fanatic. He said he wants to turn this thing into a rally car. It looked like it already been in a rally competition before we got it. So That's probably what the other people were doing with it, which I didn't know of any type of rally competitions in Florida, but maybe somebody bought it from somebody else. I don't really know, but let's get the rest of these parts out of here. And there's all the brake pads, the exhaust pieces, pretty much everything else we need for this car. So, the Renault. Alright, come on. We always use K&N air filters. We don't use the regular paper ones. We want a quality air filter that you can pull out and clean out. It's worth investing that money because you never have to buy an air filter again. And if the K&N one wears out, you get a new one, put the old one in the box, and they take it back, and you get your money back on it. You got a brand new filter. K&N air filters have a lifetime warranty on them. That's the reason why I've always bought them. So it looks like we're pretty much complete on the top side of the engine. We're going to have to get the car up and do all of our bottom side work, which is really cool because this is not going to take no time at all, because it uses a independent wishbone suspension in the back. So we'll hang our knuckle up, and then you put your lower, and these are already pre-built control arms. All we doing is just bolting them in. Polyurethane mount, same way. And then the double wishbone shock absorber. And okay, it looks like I didn't get that one, so we're gonna have to build 2 of these. So alright, that's cool. Make sure it says double wishbone shock absorber rear, because if you don't, you'll accidentally do for the ones for the front, and it's a big waste of time. I guess it's not a waste of time. You'll have it in case you actually need it for the front setup. So alright, there we go. We got it built for both sides, but watch how fast this is doing the suspension on this in the back. So whole strut assembly, you bolt it in. Let's see, it's not going to let us put our CV joint in until we get our bearing and hub put in. Let's see, now he did say it's cool on the bearings. We can reuse the bearings in the rear. We rebuilt the drive shaft, so we're good there. New brake disc, new pads, and fresh rebuilt calipers with new seals. So, and we just connect the brake line up, throw the rim on, and we are done with this side. We are almost wrapped up with this car. We got this other suspension, the exhaust to do, and fluids, and we should be hearing this thing crank up for the first time. Alright. The correct way, I should say. Uh-oh. I thought I know I had some suspension arms in the back. I should have had at least 15 of these things, and let me go over here and see where they done put my control arms. Sometimes they like throwing them on the back wall. Yep, there they are, right there. Alright, so let me grab the lower control arm real quick. We're gonna throw it on the bottom. There we go. I was supposed to say, I know me and Jamie put in an order for our upper and lower control arms. It's a common part to replace on a vehicle, so we try to keep that stuff in stock. That way we don't gotta wait for our rallies to deliver it. There we go. Use our special tool to press in these bearings. And luckily nothing got broken. Because used bearings, they sometimes, even though they look new, they love breaking. Alright. So there we go. Axle in. Put the tire, and all we should have left is the exhaust and fluids. And the transmission's already got fluid into it. We went ahead and put it into there whenever we installed it. So it just uses regular motor oil. Most of your manual transmissions, they just use regular motor oil in them. Sometimes they don't, sometimes they do. It just, it just depends. Alright. brand new mufflers. So, and that's it. I'm not showing any more glowing parts. So, oh yeah, we got to put the rear bumper on here. We'll do that once we get it back down. Rear bumper. No, we're going to leave the trunk off just for a second. That way we can access everything back here a little bit easier. Go ahead and put our engine oil in. Remember to tip that jug up. Once it tilts down, count to 5. 2, 3, 4, 5. There we go. Same thing with the power steering. It works for all cans. Just remember that. Just pour it wide open wherever the can tips over, count to 5. 2, 3, 4, 5. Alright. And we are going to overfill our brake fluid reservoir. That way we can bleed our brakes. Now this one's kind of hard to see. You kind of have to watch this one. Because we're going to fill it up a little bit higher than 5. And right there. Alright. Should give us enough to bleed down and get at least most of the air pockets out of the line. We put our bleeder screws in so it didn't allow any air to get back up into the line. So it should be just a couple of pumps on the brake pedal with the brake bleeder valves open, and that should be it. Should be ready to go. But our test path is going to tell us. Now we're going to put coolant into here. This thing holds a lot of coolant because this thing's got a big hose that runs from the radiator all the way back to that motor. It just doesn't illustrate it on here, but it holds quite a bit of coolant. And we got our wash reservoir. Got that Rain-X special going into there. I love using that all-season bug remover, especially over here in bug season during the summer. Man, you make one trip to town, your whole car is covered in bugs before you get to wherever you're going. You'll be scrubbing that stuff off for weeks. Alright, so let's double check everything. We know we got engine oil, trans oil, the ABS module was good, brake fluid, power steering fluid, coolant. Put a fresh battery in here because his other one is still reconditioning over there. Now we never did, I think we did check the fuses. Let's go ahead and check the work order on the car and see what we got. Yep, we are all green. So on my tablet it keeps up with my checklist. So yep, everything is done. Now we've been waiting for this. We want to see what one of these, what type of horsepower we're putting down. But let's go ahead and get the trunk put back on and his license plate. Rally-o. Alright, there we go. And we're gonna put this thing on the ground. Is it already down? That's weird. This button's sticking. I ain't never done that before. Normally it goes down. I'm gonna have to get my son to come out here and work on this thing, see if he can, because this bothers me, because I know this thing sits on the ground. Man, look at this thing. It looks like a little go-kart. But alright, let's go ahead and get it moved to the test path, because we are going to have to, you know, do an alignment, and it shows in our paperwork where, you know, the brakes test out good, suspension tests good. So I will see y'all over there. Alright, before we do anything, let's go ahead and give this thing a start. I already know what's missing. I already know what is missing. I ain't gonna let us start this engine up, one, without a starter. So, and we gotta put our engine cover back on because we do not want exhaust fumes getting into the car. And that thing's pretty loud too. So alright, let's get in here and let's try it now. Oh yeah, I mean that thing sounds like it's got a cam in it back there. but it also really has a really short exhaust, so. Oh yeah, it's really raspy. We ain't gonna rev up on it too hard till we have it dyno tuned, but let's go ahead and do the suspension test pass. Front brakes should be 100%. No. Ah, I know what it is. Could be that ABS module. Never did really pull it out and go through it, because this thing had ABS on the front wheels and not the rear. Which I thought was kind of strange. Whenever they first come out with ABS vehicles, the ABS only worked on the front wheels, but the back ones would still go into a skid, and then that didn't last for very long. And then they were like, yeah, we got to put ABS on everything. So, but alright, we got that in. Now all we got to do is get it ready for an alignment. We'll do that quick alignment. Thank God we got this automatic alignment machine that's got these automatically does it for us. It's real expensive equipment. Now we gotta realign the headlights. Alright, those are good, those are good. Alright, we didn't even have to do that. Alright, so here's what we've been waiting for. We're gonna go ahead and get this thing moved to the dyno. I'm gonna have it strapped down and we're gonna see what type of numbers it's producing. I'll see you over there. Alright, so we got the car in here, we got it strapped down. We're going to go ahead and, actually the computer is up front up here, so, our OBD port where we can plug into it at. So let's see what type of numbers we're putting down. So factory horsepower was 264. Let's see if we gain any horsepower from decking the heads. We got a good ignition system, and I think that's pretty much all the upgrades we did to it. So let's see if we get anything better. That's a lot of horsepower. Oh yeah, it definitely increased it. We got a 16 horsepower gain from bumping the compression on the heads and putting the high fire ignition system. So, but we do got these black bumpers. I don't know if he wanted us to paint that. Let's check the work order. I don't think he wanted us to paint it. I don't really like leaving the car, you know, halfway done. Really don't like doing that, but we're gonna do one more thing just because I want to see what this little thing will do. Let me check my camera battery. Alright, we got enough time to do it. We're gonna take it to the we're gonna run it through the drag strip. We're gonna take it through the half-mile run. Alright, so we're out here at the Duneway Raceway track, so we're not going to put it in no tournament. We're just going to do a practice run, do a half-mile race. That way we can get an eighth, a quarter, and a half-mile run. Now this is completely stock, you know, just we bumped the compression with the heads, and we got a good ignition system with coils and plugs and a performance air filter. So let's see what type of numbers this thing throws down, and I guess we're going to find out if it's a 5 or a 6 speed. Alright. Got us in the right lane. Let's see if I don't mess this up. Alright, clutch in. Yeah. 7,000 is good. Good shifting point. Kind of falls on its face a little bit, but it starts picking up good. Oh, we hit the red line. Alright, so in a half mile it'll do 130 miles per hour. In a quarter it ran a 13.4, so that thing is just as fast as my little Honda Civic Type R. And in an eighth of a mile we ran an 8.5 at 87 miles per hour. And for a factory car, this is pretty quick. But it is only a 5-speed, so we was actually fixing to be running out of gear before too long. So this vehicle probably top out at 150 miles per hour. So, but let's go ahead and get it back to the shop. Jamie's done already called up the customer. We know everything is working mechanically sound, and he is ready to pick up the car. All right, let's head back. Alright, so let's go ahead and get this thing moved out front because he's already in the office getting his paperwork and everything printed out that we got done for him. Alright, so as he's getting his paperwork, he's getting all of his printouts from the, the test path, any diagnosing we done, the dyno paperwork, we even got his quarter mile times and everything, but he was astounded whenever he saw the vehicle. He was extremely happy. And I was happy to work on the vehicle. I'm actually going to buy one of these things as a shop vehicle. I'd love to have this as a little parts car. We can let Jamie go tear down the streets in this thing, going to go get parts from O'Reilly's. We're gonna soup ours up a little bit though. We're gonna do some body kits. We want this thing looking nice. We're gonna see what an actual race version of it, but maybe we'll get lucky and find one in a barn find, or maybe at a car auction. Hopefully in a barn find. So that's where we tend to pick up a lot of our vehicles from. Now, so every once in a while you can get lucky and find one at the junkyard, but you ain't gonna find no parts on it. It's gonna be a destroyed frame I'm probably gonna have to call my son up on. We're gonna have to get it welded, but either way, my customer was happy. Even though he's a close friend of mine, he's still a customer. We took care of him like we would have done everybody else, and that's the way you want to do with all your customers, especially if you're getting into this line of work. Do the best that you can, and they will always return other people to you. It'll be them plus more. And if you're fair to your customers, Jesus teaches us to be fair. You ain't trying to hustle them and replace parts they don't need and charge them and doing all that. You believe me, you'll have so much work you can't shake a stick at it all. You'll be busy you could literally work every day of the week and still have more vehicles than you got time to work on. So that's what the Lord tells us. You take care of other people, He'll bless you with work. And just remember to tithe, though. You always got to remember to tithe. That's a really big deal. But anyways, alright guys, so let's see what we made on this work order. Alright, so he gave us a bonus of $2,500, and the total payout was $13,115. So let's go ahead and get our money and let my boy be on the way, because he is ready to drive this car. I ain't gonna be surprised if we leave out of here this afternoon and see black strips up there at the stop sign, because I've been telling them, don't be tearing out of the driveway. Everybody be watching. They thinking we're out here racing down the street and all the black marks are leaving from my driveway, so they gonna know what's going on, or they're gonna think I'm doing it. But let's go ahead and get paid and send him on the way. Alright, so now we are sitting at $430,000, and we are almost over 10,000 scrap pieces, which I do have a lot of scrap that I need to take care of before the end of the day. But let's go ahead and get our Supra. We got to put our brand new steering wheel in here. Let's see, add parts. We need at least a steering wheel to steer the car. There we go. We're going to run that as an old school steering wheel. But I remember they had steering wheels like this in these cars. I've always liked that style of steering wheel. It reminded me of the arcade games whenever I was a kid. But let's go ahead and get this thing in on rack 2. Alright, so we got the Supra in here. Engine, we picked this one up. It ain't got too much wrong with the engine, but we are going to be pulling this car completely all the way down and getting ready to build another race car, for sale. We're always going to keep our very first Driven by Christ drag car, but we're going to see if this one can be a championship, see if this one can hold the championship title too. So, and give it a new home, give it somebody that's gonna take care of it, and still rip it down the track. If they need to make some extra cash, it's all about building race cars and smiles, and spreading the word of Jesus to them. Some people, man, they just come up here and check out the cars, and they don't even know about Jesus. They're like, what? No, we don't believe in that. But and then you gotta sit down there. You gotta tell them your testimony, where you come from and where you've been. A lot of them will listen, but you gotta at least put it on their minds. Not everybody's gonna be like, oh, I believe you. It don't ever work like that, because people want to believe in stuff that they can see. And once they start believing in it and they see them blessings working in their life, oh yeah, believe me, they're going to run their mouth to everybody. And then everybody's going to think they're crazy like I am. But that just comes with it. A lot of people think I'm crazy about it, but I won't be crazy the day that Jesus comes back, though. They're going to be like, uh-oh. Because it says every knee will bow in the end. Every knee will bow and declare the Lord. Jesus is our Lord and Savior. I just hope it ain't too late for him. But anyways, guys, so that's gonna wrap it up for this Monday morning. Me and Jamie are fixing to head out and go get some lunch. So I was glad I was able to get that car on the dyno. I'm actually really wanting to go to the car auction on my lunch break and see if I can't find a kit car. Maybe not an official one like my friend had, but at least a kit car, and we may build it. But we're gonna start on Project Supra. We done did our work for today. We're gonna start on we're gonna start on our Toyota Supra drag car. May have to check it out. May check our messages. We'll just see what's going on lunch, and I'll catch y'all on that next episode. Later, guys.